John the Baptist came to Tulsa in 1899. He came from Indianapolis, where he had been an attorney. Known as JB by his parents, he was a Kentucky slave. The slave masters named the slaves. His father, by the way, was named Julius Caesar. He was lured to Oklahoma by Mr. McCabe, the man who started Langston University, the first black city in Oklahoma, of which there were nearly 50 by the 1921 riot, as a matter of fact. They were doing a lot of publicity to get blacks to come to Tulsa, specifically to Greenwood, and to perhaps have such a large population of blacks that they could dominate and run the state. It was a matter of destiny for him. He became a real estate developer along with O.W. Gurley, who was the man given the title in respect of being really the founder of Greenwood. They both bought large tracts of land on the north side of the railroad tracks, a very dusty, dirty, nobody wanted it area, and selling only to blacks themselves. JB Stradford was really a real estate developer rather than a lawyer in Tulsa, in Greenwood. By the time of the riot in 1921, he had amassed 15 apartment buildings, 4 or 5 houses, and an eponymous hotel called the Stradford Hotel, net worth $1.6 million, the most affluent man in Greenwood prior to the riot, the man who lost the most in dollars and cents during the riot. J.B. Stradford, a man described by some of his friends as a Mandingo warrior, although he was 60 years old at the time of the riot, and he was kind of, we won't say pudgy, we will say, he was a stocky, short-natured man with a pencil-thin mustache and a jutting jaw and just piercing dark eyes. He was prone to excessive verbiage. He was prone to getting a little carried away. He was very big on black social justice. He took the federal government, the state government, the city government to task on a number of issues dealing with black equality. He was not liked by the white community. People in Greenwood kept their money under their mattresses. People in Greenwood, for the large part of them, kept their money in their pockets. When the riot occurred, people were held up, money was taken from their pockets. When they were taken to detention centers, like the Old Lady on Brady, which really was the convention center at that time, that's where J.B. Stradford wound up. They took $2,000 from his pocket. He was released shortly after that because a white employer, a white person, bailed him out, if you will. When he was promised that his hotel would not be burned, that it would be saved if he were to give himself up. His hotel, all the windows on the second floor had been shot out by machine guns. He'd had several people die in his hotel. They had taken his money, they'd incarcerated him. His wife was somewhere he didn't know where she was. Blacks were running up and down Greenwood Avenue with their hands raised high, shots being fired at their feet, hopelessness on their faces. And he has just lost everything. He has lost his black sense of place. He has lost his financial world, and he jumped on a train as fast as he could. And it was a rainy day. And as he headed out of town east towards Independence, where his brother lived, he got a good shot up Greenwood Avenue. Destruction. His beautiful, beautiful black-only, black-operated hotel in ruins, charred brick. And it was just all gone. Totally, totally gone. JB reaches Independence, Kansas, to his brother's house. 2 days later, a grand jury that had been convened hastily indicted him. The first person indicted in the 1921 Tulsa race riot. Indicted for inciting a riot because they contended that blacks congregated in front of his hotel and left from his hotel into downtown Tulsa and caused all kinds of trouble and helped start the race riot. He was the first one indicted. He died in 1935 at the age of 75, still indicted for inciting the riot. He was exonerated in 1996, October of 1996, 75 years after the fact, 60 years, him in the grave. Bill LaFortune was a district attorney at the time, and they decided, some of the relatives of JB decided this really needed to be rectified, and they appealed to the common sense of judicial people in Tulsa, and they granted him an exoneration. They had a ceremony at Greenwood Cultural Center. People came in, Stradfords from all over the United States came to the proceedings, and he was very simply exonerated in about 2 sentences. But it took 75 years. He was the first charged and the last freed.